Heyo, heyo. Okay, one last. I regret moisturizing because now I'm slippery. Okay, when last we left our intrepid lithium upgrade, it was about a week ago, and I haven't been able to touch it since because it was the holidays, and I either have to focus 100% on this or I have to focus 100% on my family, and I did not want to try and split my time between focusing on this and focusing on my family, so it was 100% family all week, and it was awesome. Now we are back to this, and I have to figure out why the port engine didn't start when they were here doing the yearly service. So here's my starter battery, and I think what went wrong, this is funny, it literally came to me in a dream. I don't think this is connected, so I'm going to do some troubleshooting here. All right. There, and then up, and then, all right, back, and then down. All right, I'm going to, okay, I think it attaches to the battery shutoff switch, so let me make sure that's actually connected or reconnected. Ow, ow. It was also a whole week of no bruises. And what else? I also have my, upside down, I also have my complete wiring diagram from the Yacht Riggers to follow now, which is awesome. If I could just get going. Where did I put my headlamp? Okay. Set that wire to there, to port start battery goes to there, port start battery. And this one goes to the port engine battery. I think I traced it. I understand why they have it all tied together for port engine starter. I understand why they have it all tied together, but so it comes from here to port starter battery and there, then to port engine starter, and then it goes all the way down there, goes back to here and there. And I'm gonna go see what's going on here. But that one is definitely turned off. Where does the other one say? From port. Oops, don't fall off camera. There we go. Ooh, am I seeing a, I hope I'm not seeing a, I'm gonna turn this off. Okay. Some of the videos I'm seeing, even from the biggies like Delos, I've been having some trouble with flicker, and it's definitely coming from the LEDs, their refresh rate and the camera's refresh rate. So I moved my camera's refresh rate to 24 frames per second, which is very slow in cinematic, so I am hoping that solves the problem. But I was really mad the first time I saw it, and then I started seeing a lot of people having it, so I don't feel so bad. What was that? Yeah. Locking nut. Okay, so it has to be one of these, and also, let's see, this is my port. Okay, this is my battery isolator in case I haven't talked about this before. Okay, this is engine 1, input 1. Okay, so this is my, I'm gonna have to make a better label for this, but this is port alternator, this little line here, and then this is my alternator here. So if I put my fingers on this one and just trace this, find out where she goes. Oh, it makes like this huge ass loop right here. That's interesting. And then here. Okay, so it looks like the regulator. Okay, so these two lines, this one and this one, are linked together right here. So those are my port and starboard alternators. Yep. Yes. Okay. Now, where does this engine one go? Because I feel like this has to be, at least when I had a dream about it. Some people dream about ponies. I dream about boats. Okay. Follow it down. Follow it down. Follow it down. Oh. It is crazy how hard this is. Okay, where is my finger? It's on this one. I gotta get under there. You can see why I did not put the batteries back in. Okay. Alright, so it's, where's my finger? Sawdust. Yum. Engine. There. Alright. 1, 2, 3. Okay, okay, so it's this triple loop right here. And it goes down right in through here. So now back over the other side. So it goes there. That's the 3. So that's one of them. Okay. And then this is the other one. Where's the third one? Okay, that's coming from starboard side. Yep. And here's port. And then here's the master one. This one and this one go to that one. And And my Starlink broke, and it reminds me of the Buddhist parable of sometimes when you think bad things happen to you, it prevents a worse thing from happening to you. Okay, I need to take a picture. Where was I? Squirrel? Nope. Camera. Instead of looking at my butt, have you look at what I'm looking at. The only thing worse than paying $130 for labels is paying $130 for labels that you can't read. Let's do adjust. There you go. Okay. House. Okay, the house alternator feed and the charge port start. All right, I'm gonna have to take some notes here and write that down. Be back in a minute. Okay, I can see the flickering. Look at that. Hold on, that's better. Okay, no more of that light. Okay, according to my drawing, this is the old house, and we don't need it because we're gonna do it this way. So I have to trace this and see where it goes because we don't use it anymore. And first, I'm going to cut this so I can follow the line that I need to follow. And it's in French. Okay, this is the house line. I'm just gonna have to do this so I can see what the heck I'm doing. Hold on. There. Zip ties are cheap, right? Alright, let's try it again. Squirrel. Alright, where is my tape? House. Of course, put it where I can't read it. I did not cut myself, that's just red marker. Okay. One more of these. Okay. Hey-oh. Whoa! Okay, the wire. There's the wire. And it goes to there. Okay, so I'm gonna mark that one with a green because it's supposed to come out. So we're not using that one anymore. By stocking zip ties. Okay, that's the wire, and there's where it lives. Old house. Old house. Well, that probably explains why the starter battery wasn't working. Maybe? No, that's all this one. From port to charge. Let me look at my book again. Okay. Port starter, port engine, from port alternator to port starter. Yes. Okay, that says 2 port starter battery. Missing a small but important word. Starboard hub. So everything that goes into there. 2 house bus. No, that's fine. 2 house bus. 2 house battery switch. Yes, that makes sense. Yep. From starboard alternator. That's fine. Does that say lower house bus bar and 2 windlass? So 2 windlass goes down there. It can't be it because it's too thick. Goes that way. And then this is my ground to the windlass. I'm betting 2 windlass. I'm gonna have to watch that damn video back with him talking about these damn things. Okay. Ow. There are some things I'm still very confused by with electricity, which is not good if you're working with it. So what am I doing today? I am working on my lithium upgrade. The batteries are in, they're running, but the batteries are in and running, but there are a couple of things that need to happen before we can turn the engine on. One of those things is that this is an external regulator. It's a Balmar AR5. It does not have a profile for LiFePO batteries, which are the lithium phosphate batteries, which are not lithium ion, and they don't have thermal runaway. So before you freak out, you don't need to freak out. They're safe. This is the Balmar MC618. If you want, you can add some more dongles to it, and you can program it through your phone, which seems to be how everybody likes doing things nowadays. But this is more of a set it and forget it kind of thing. So I will just go through the enormous annoyance of holding holding a magnetic tip to this to scroll through the LED screens to program it the way it needs to be programmed. Luckily, I do not need to make any adjustments to the standard LFE profile on this because my batteries, the SunFun Kit batteries, have their own battery monitoring system, and they kind of take under advisement what's coming from the ARS. So even if it's reasonably close, it's fine. Interestingly enough, I can program the ARS. Interestingly enough, I can program this for lithium, and my AGM batteries won't mind too much. But if I left the Balmar AR5 in, the ARS5 in and I left it programmed for the AGMs, my Lithiums would be super, super unhappy. So today I am going to install the Balmar, and I have to get in here and take off this old harness and put on the new harness. And, technically I probably could pull this old harness off, but I'm seeing there's some wear here where I had to get in to work in here. And basically anybody who gets in here and has to work in here is going to be pushing against this. So whoever did this, not me, I don't like where this is. So I am going to put the new one right there instead. And I think that's just a better spot, both just to be able to see what I'm doing, and the alternator is right here. And there's no a line, doesn't have to cross all the way over. So the first thing I'm going to do is mount this. And I also have some other things that are going with it that don't exist on the engine right now in the alternator, which should. One of them is an alternator temperature sensor. And this is crucial if you are going to be using lithium with your alternators, because lithiums are like vampires. They will pull all the energy that your Balmar or whatever alternator you're using can give and make it get hot and hotter until it burns out. So the alternator temperature sensor, which plugs in here, if it senses that the alternator is getting too hot, it will slow down the amount of juice that the alternator is feeding to the batteries and allow it to be a little cooler. The other thing I have is a Balmar alternator protection module. And this is going to go on the back of the Balmar because it's going to go back on the back of the Balmar alternator because my lithium batteries have battery monitoring systems on them. And if they don't like what is being thrown at them, they will cut off. And if they cut off, there'll be sort of like a whiplash effect. The power will just come rocketing back at the alternator. And what this does is it acts as a break in the power coming from the sort of the whiplash of the power coming back, because the lithium batteries are all of a sudden like, nope, no thank you. You don't like it, we're shutting down, which I've heard that's kind of like what they like to do. So this will protect my alternator. And right now, this is a 29 horsepower engine. This is 120 volt Balmar. Right now, this is the only side that has any enhancements. The other side is the stock Hitachi alternator. And it's interesting. They told me when there was a lightning strike, and this goes back to why am I doing this all myself? They told me they put an Electromax in there and replaced the Hitachi with an Electromax, and they put one of these AR5s in, and it never was hooked up. But I didn't know enough about my boat back then to understand really what was going on until I finally knew. The other fun thing is this is a voltage sense wire, and it's really it's crucial with lithiums, but it's really important with batteries anyway. This on the other end is attached to my Pro Mariner isolator, and this senses the amount of voltage in a very separate way. The AR5 doesn't have the ability to use this, or it's supposed to be paired in with this other red wire. But the new one, the M16, it has its own little slot for the sense wire right here. And it comes with a fuse. So I have to do some wire stripping and crimping and heat shrinking to connect this and then connect this to that. But then that will mean that the isolator will have a good idea of the energy that is flowing across the isolator and help to keep everything going the right speed and the right temperature. I think the name of the game with lithium batteries is redundancy. Like my BMSs, my battery monitoring systems on my batteries are protecting it, and that's it. My battery monitoring system, those protected. I have a battery isolator, which allows the energy to be shunted properly from the alternator to the batteries. And then now I also have an Orion DC to DC charger, which will, the way we have it wired, and I'll show you, but basically it's pulling energy from the dumb alternator on the starboard side, and it's using it to charge the two starter batteries. So that's where we're at, and you'll see that in a little bit. But right now, the first thing I am going to do is I have to get my socket set. I will bet you any amount of money that I'm going to have a bear of a time getting these wires off because there's just so little room here. But I'm going to do my best. I wish there was a way to pull this off, but it does not appear that there is, without like breaking it. And I kind of don't want to break it because it still works. It's just not right. Whoops, just not right for what my applications are. So my plan is to sell this one and sell the other one on Facebook Marketplace because they're fine. They just don't work for what I'm using now. And I have no idea what blue to purple question mark means. So that's coming off too. All right. And I'm probably going to put you in time-lapse mode for a while I work on this. I'm in such tight quarters here that I hope you can see this. All right, here's where I'm at. I've carefully cut the zip strips that were holding these things together. I can see that see if you can see my hand. The brown wire is coming. So there's 4 wires in this harness and there's 4 wires in that and they're identical. And one of the wires is coming out and going into here as some sort of, it looks like this is brown, so I think it's the ignition wire. And then there's a white wire that is also coming out. They did not do a very good job with this. I'm gonna have to rewrap these. And then there's a white wire that's coming out right there. And those seem to be, because in this wire, can you see it? Maybe the AR5 right here, this wire isn't attached to anything. So I'm kind of just talking my way through it. So I see where the black wire goes and it has like a spade paddle. And here's a new one, black wire. And then the red wire goes right there. And yes, I disconnected the starter battery completely and I tested it with the voltmeter. Red one goes there. And then the brown one looks like it's waylaid and it comes out here. And then this clippity dippity thing here goes right in there. So now it makes sense. Just need to do it. Okay, here's where we're at. My new one. Those are in. I have to attach the temperature sensor to a lug right here. Of course, that's missing. So I gotta find one. And then this is the old one. And the white wire that goes from that spot goes into this one. And the brown wire goes into that one. And it's kind of messy. So I'm hoping I can make this all a little tidier. And way down in here, I found another brown ignition wire, I'm assuming, and it had been cut and it was just like a raw end there. So I taped that up. Then once I get everything in and tidy, I have to, and then where is that wire? This wire goes in up there, but I have to add the fuse to it. So I got to get all my wire stuff. So that's where I'm at right now. episode 2 where I had accidentally made wires that were A, too short for the batteries because I hadn't put these special fuses on them, and B, I didn't realize that one end was supposed to be 5/16 and one end was supposed to be 3/8. Well, that actually turned out to be okay because I have to do this. So according to my schematic. So yay for it not being a mistake. And another thing I've done, this is just temporary. This is going to be a 4/0 gauge wire, not this skinny one. This is just literally just so I can get an idea of what I'm working with. And let's see, so this has to go in like that. And another thing I did with these wires right here, they were like being pulled by this wire, and they were all like twisted and wrapped around it, which seemed really messy. So I put wire clips up behind here, and then I just zip stripped them here and here, and those go to the ignition. So I feel like it's kind of important. And then this one is the isolator ground, and that one is right there. So now they all stay out of the way. And right now I'm just finger tightening everything because I can, because I'm pretty sure I'm going to make at least one mistake. Actually, no, I'm gonna, so I can have a better idea. Okay, so from the house, that one is complete. Look at my list here. Okay, disconnect battery, done. Replace the negative wire, done. Attach the floating fuses to the SFK batteries, done. I gotta work on the Orions. Remove the house wire from the isolator, done. And I have to remove it from the battery switch. Okay. I think this is house to there. And then this, where's the, okay. This is my port starter battery. And, oh, I should have a label for this. Solar from solar panel. And for those of you who are like, oh my God, the light is so big. Yeah, I'm really nearsighted. And now I need reading glasses. From starter battery to isolator. That one I'm going to use today. From starter battery to isolator to port. Okay, this one's to port, isolator, house. Is this one. And for everyone's like, you can see what it's doing. Well, when you're looking at like this whole rat's nest of wires that it feels like you're looking at, to the port isolator house, right there. And that's the house battery. And then this one's not getting a label because this is not the wire I'm using. Okay, I got these to all blow away. All right, I need, what does this say? You know what else I discovered? These wires have been cut at both engines. So I have to find out what these wires, what function these wires. So Pro Mariner, ADV, REG1, what do they do? Oh, yeah, so somebody cut these, and I want to know why. And I want to know if they should be cut. All right, now I gotta trace the battery, the starter battery. The positive line from the starter battery needs to go into this isolator. Port starter battery. And I need to make sure it goes into, make sure that this wire, which is the engine, where does that go? And is it going to the right? I think we're going to call this episode 4. And I think this is a good place to start episode 4. And I'm in a grumpy mood, not because of this. This is going really well, knock wood. I'm very happy about this. I've been trying to get our Starlink running all morning. And apparently it is taking a dirt nap because we thought it was the router. Starlink agreed. They sent us a new router and plugged it in, configured it, and nothing. So now I have to open another help ticket with them because it looks like the entire thing from the dishy all the way through the router has just gone kerflooey. So that was a frustrating morning. And there are two things. When I'm frustrated, I try not to work on my painting. When I'm frustrated, I try not to work on things that the frustration will bleed out into what I'm working on. So that's either the painting that I'm working on for a client or this today. But I also really want to get this done. So I am going to take a couple minutes and go for a walk and burn off the crankiness so I can focus and do a good job. All right, I'm back. That helped. Let me show you where I am today. I might need to take the camera off of its mount here. Hold on. Okay. The Orion DC to DC chargers in. I have the two, I should probably put this in a better spot, 2 negative bus bar line. I have to make these 2 wires today, and I'm going to do that, and I believe those are the last 2 wires. I have the 2 breakers that I need to wire to this. I replaced the old house bank wire. I replaced the old house bank wire that went from here over to the switch, and now it goes to here to port isolator house right there. These didn't change. Sorry, these didn't change. I'm just trying to label them all. And I got the big gigantic, oh yeah, I got to take this off too. The big gigantic 4.0 gauge wire is going to go right here. This is sort of just a placer. So that's going to go right here. And then it's going to go down, around, up, and then into this breaker right here. And then I just installed the fuse for this. I need to put all the fuses in for here. This is my links distribution. I need to put all of my wires in here, and I need to plug those in. And once we do that, that should allow me to fire up the system, which will allow me to reprogram the inverter and reprogram the BMV 712 Smart Shunt. Then I will hook up my MPPT solar and take off the old solar, which is right there. And I have one more fuse coming that was in the diagram that I did not have in my box of treasures. So the new fuses are going to go here and up there. Then once I get that done, I need to reprogram the external regulator, add a temperature wire to it, and add, there's like a fuse that can go in the back. So if any of this new lithium energy comes roaring back at the alternator, it'll go, nope, no thank you. So today's tasks, oh, I forgot my notebook. I'm gonna have to go get my notebook. So today's tasks are to cut some more wires, wire up the DC to D, I gotta cut some more wires, I gotta crimp some more wires, I gotta heat shrink some more wires, I gotta do the DC to DC charger, finish putting the second 2 wires in that, and then start putting the big batteries in. So I'm pretty happy. Cold. Okay, here's where I am. This is my new Victron Smart Solar Controller. I pulled the old one out, put a picture in, pulled the old one out, pulled the old spade fuse out. I hate those things. There's still one left over on this side, but don't let good, or still one over on this side, but don't let perfect be the enemy of good. So it's going to stay there because it's doing its job. But anyway, I have a new dual pole solar breaker right here, and I could not get this to turn on. I was very careful. I shut everything off and wired it all up, and then turned everything back on. I could not get this to turn on. And the reason I could not get this to turn on is for these breakers, red is on and green is off. So I made some labels for myself because I know I'll forget. And I worked on it at night, so there was no danger of hurting myself with the solar, but I wanted to make some labels because when I first got on the boat, when we first bought it, I had no idea what anything was. And now I know what everything is because I put it in there. But if somebody else is on the boat, here we go, solar panel breaker. If somebody else is on the boat and they aren't as familiar with it as I am, I don't want them to, let's see, from the PMV shunt, sail drive parts. I don't want them to wonder like, where is this thing or where is that thing? Or conversely, if I am high voltage, conversely, if I am telling somebody, go flip the solar panel breaker, there's the label for it. And the other label is going to say high voltage. My scissors. But I wanted to show you this before I put the wall back up there. High voltage, danger, high voltage. So I wanted to show you all I did here before I put the wall back up and make this side pretty again. So these are my two wires that come from my solar, and they go into my 2-pole breaker. They come out and they go into this thing called PV right here, which is, I don't know, it just means the solar. And I currently have 420 watts of solar, which it's hilariously reversed because you're supposed to have double the amount of solar that you do of batteries. And I have 1100 amp hours of batteries and only 420 watts of solar. But it is definitely on our to-do list for upgrading and adding more. So I don't think that that's going to be a big issue to add more solar controllers. If I add more up there, I can put them in. I can put another MPPT right here, and I don't see that being a problem. And I'm sure, and there's other places on the boat that I could squirrel another one if I needed to, like on the other side. But so, and it's a gross, cloudy, cold day right now. I don't know when I'm going to be able to publish the video, but this is when Florida got 7 inches of snow. We didn't. It's just really cold. It's like in the 40s. It's 55 degrees in the boat right now. I did have the diesel heater on, and I'll probably turn that back on in a little bit, but I don't want to shut down the diesel heater by cutting the power to it and maybe not have it shut down right. So I just decided to leave it off. The only other thing that I did in here was my Xantrex 3012 inverter. My Xantrex Freedom 3012 inverter. My Xantrex Freedom 3012 inverter. It's supposed to have this like little black, I don't know what you would call it, but it's like this plug that tells the ZAN bus system that not to function. And for whatever reason that was functioning, or for whatever reason that was missing. And it came in packs of 2, so I just taped the second one on top. I don't think I'll ever need it. There's supposed to be 2. One's supposed to be here, and one is supposed to be up on the panel up there. And I checked, and the one on the panel is there. I think what might have happened is this got sent after the lightning strike. This was fine, except for there was one short in it, and they took it and got it repaired. And I think when they did that, they took this out and forgot to put it back in. But that's that. So this wall can go back up, and that makes me so happy. So I'm feeling pretty good about how we're going along so far. and I'm going to photograph this, and then I will show you what it looks like down there. The other thing I'm working on right now is I need to install these computer fans that are controlled by a thermostat, which is right here. And I'm not so sure if I'm going to do a good job of this or not, or whether it's going to be something I can figure out. So I'm going to wire it up and heat it up and see if I can trigger the fan. And if I can, then if I can, then I'm going to put them right here. One right there. How close do they have to be? One right there. I'd love to put one up in here, but I don't think that's going to reach. I'll have to see if I can first I'm going to see if I can get it working. If I can get it working, then I'm gonna, if I can get it working, then I'm gonna wire it in for real. And while I'm working, I don't know if you can see this now. And while I'm working, you can take a look at my new setup. I have an empty one here. I do. I think one of the coolest things I've learned, is when I used to look in here, like there's a video I made in 2022, and I did not even know, my camera skills haven't gotten much better. There. There's a video I made of this very spot in 2022. Let's not connect the streams, Robin. And I didn't even know what an isolator was, and I called it an alternator, which is really funny. And the water heater's still there, but I got so much flack for calling it a hot water heater. So I guess the argument could be made it makes the water hot and it keeps the water hot. So it's constantly heating the hot water or keeping the hot water hot. So I don't know, maybe. But it was really funny that I really thought people would get mad at me for not knowing the difference between an isolator and an alternator. But people got mad at me for calling a water heater a hot water heater. Oh well. Straight down. I gotta make a label for that. Hey Siri, add fans to my to-do list.
Which reminder do you want to change?
Hey Siri, add fans to my shopping list. Never mind. Remember it later. Let's see if this actually lights up. There it is. Whoop, that's working. All right, they're running, and now I just need to figure out how to program them to run optimally for. What was I going to say? I need to figure out how to program them to run optimally for this area and for this temperature. So now I'm going to throw my main battery switch right here. Cuts out all power because I'm not touching that in any substantive way until I've cut the power. Should we go? I think I'm going to put you on my other sensor wires. Thinking of it, actually. I have 3 sensor wires on this positive bus bar. One is the fan that you see me doing right now. One is the EMV smart shunt, and one goes to my new external regulator. And that one pays attention to how much voltage is going across the positive bus bar so I don't burn out my alternator. All right, put the caps back on. Turn the power back on. Go. Everything says hello. What's up? There is my honey. Okay, so it's 55 degrees in here. These should not be running. So I have to program it. So I think I don't want to hurt these. So I think I will unplug them for now. No, I think they're doing all right. All right, so the circuit board for the fans was bad. So I think what I'm going to do is just zip strip them in for now by themselves, and then I will come back and get or I'll go get another PWM and install that. But for now, I can zip strip it. I'm going to give you a little, no, you know what? I'm not going to give you a tour today because it's freezing and I want to do other things.
See you out there.